Good morning, student. Then today's topic for our science year session is we look at biochemistry, in which we are going to study what is meant by the biomolecule, its role, and the energetics. Now, then first we will see what is meant by the biochemistry. Biochemistry means everyone is now aware about the biochemistry means chemistry of biomolecule. Now there are different biomolecules. For an example, carbohydrate, protein. Then next one is a nucleic acid, and each and every biomolecule having a some important role in our body. For an example, carbohydrate gives us the energy. Protein act as a building blocks, and nucleic acid it carries the genetic information. Means what your food stuff we are eating that contains sometime protein, sometime it may be a lipid, or that one is an oil substance. Means what we are eating that one is a biomolecule. For an example, carbohydrate like lipid we are eating a meat, or we are eating a potato, that one is a enriched source of starch. Starch is nothing but your complex form of the carbohydrate. Means whatever we are eating, first process start that one is a we are chewing the substance. Means whatever biomolecule we are eating, that may be a carbohydrate or that may be a lipid. First it will go under the digestion process. It will mix with the salivary amylase, or it will mix with the lipase, and then it will enter into a stomach. Now in that stomach, actually it will go under the digestion process. Complex form of the carbohydrate or the complex form of the biomolecule is converted into a simpler form of the biomolecule. For an example, we are eating a potato. Potato is potato contains starch. Then starch goes under the digestion, and finally we are getting the alpha D glucose. Then that alpha D glucose transport our gastrointestinal barrier and finally enter into a blood circulation. And after it will enter into blood circulation, it will pass the cell membrane and now enter into a cytosol part of the cell. Okay. Now that cytosol part of the cell, where actually glycolysis is takes place. Glycolysis means breakdown of glucose. Means if glycolysis goes under the metabolism, okay. If glycolysis goes under the metabolism, why it is called as a metabolism? Metabolism means breakdown. Means breakdown of glucose is takes place. There are two terminology. First one is a metabolism and the second one is a catabolism. What do you mean by the metabolism? Means glucose is converted into a pyruvate. Means complex form of the substance is converted into a simple form, or the larger substance is break down into a smaller substance. Glucose to pyruvate. That one is called as a metabolism. And what do you mean by the catabolism? Means smaller substance is converted into a larger substance. For an example, amino acid come to with each other, join together by carbon terminal is joined with the amino terminal, and finally there is formation of protein. We synthesis of protein from amino acid is nothing but the catabolism. Okay, it is nothing but the catabolism. And metabolism is nothing but the glucose is converted into a pyruvate. Now that glucose actually goes under the metabolism in cytosol part of the cell. Now in that cytosol, why only in cytosol part of the cell? Because all the enzymes required for the glycolysis or the metabolism of the glucose, that one is present in a cytosol part, and that's why glycolysis is takes place in a cytosol part of the cell. Now, then how glycolysis is take place? With the help of different enzyme, and each and every enzyme having a unique role. Means enzyme act as a biological catalyst. Now, with the help of that catalyst, with the help of that biological catalyst, we can increase the rate of reaction. Now, then we have to start with the different type of the catabolism. For an example, carbohydrate is nothing but your glucose is converted into aerobic glycolysis or anaerobic glycolysis. And aerobic glycolysis का end product, that one is a pyruvate, and the anaerobic glycolysis का end product, that one is nothing but the lactate. Which with the help of aerobic glycolysis we will get pyruvate, and with the help of anaerobic glycolysis or in absence of oxygen we will get lactate. Okay. Now then that pyruvate and the lactate, they can interconvert with each other. pyruvate and the lactate, they can interconvert with each other with the help of one unique enzyme. That one is called as a lactate dehydrogenase. Means pyruvate with the utilization of reduced form of the chemical equivalent, that one is a NADH2 is converted into a lactate, means addition of hydrogen, and then that pyruvate is converted into a lactate. And lactate, it goes under the dehydration, means again NAD, that one is a oxidized form NAD, that NAD is converted into a NADH or NADH2, means reduced form is converted into a oxidized form is converted into a reduced form NAD2 NADH2, where your lactate is converted into a pyruvate. Now then what takes place with that pyruvate? Pyruvate is a end product, and finally that pyruvate goes under the decarboxylation. This pyruvate is made up from 3 carbon unit. Pyruvate is made up from 3 carbon unit. It will goes under the decarboxylation, and then there is formation of one acyl group or acidyl group. That one is a CH3CO. With that pyruvate, there is a loss of carbon dioxide. Then which one is the remaining? CH3 and the CO. That one is called as the acyl group or the acidyl group. That acyl or the acidyl group now combine with the coenzyme A, and then it is converted into acyl CoA या तो acidyl CoA, and now acidyl CoA is the starting material for TCA cycle. Why it is called as a TCA cycle? TCA stand for tricarboxylic acid cycle. TCA stand for tricarboxylic acid cycle. Means in a case of TCA cycle, there is a formation of citric acid, and that citric acid contains the 3 carboxylic group. That's why it is called as a tricarboxylic acid cycle, or it is also called as a Krebs cycle. Now, then that acidyl CoA, it is made up from 2 carbon unit. That acidyl CoA is made up from 2 carbon unit. Then it is combined with the another molecule of oxaloacetate, and now it is enter into a TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle. Means with the help of glycolysis, we will get energy, and with the help of our TCA cycle, we will also get the energy. But the location of glycolysis and the location of the TCA cycle is different. As we are already discussed, location of our glycolysis wala cycle is a cytosol part, and the location for our TCA cycle is nothing but the mitochondria, means inner part of the mitochondria. That one is also called as a powerhouse of the cell, where actually TCA cycle is takes place. Means all the enzyme required for TCA cycle is present in a matrix part of the mitochondria, and all the enzyme required for the glycolysis, it is present in a cytosol part of the cell. And both the cycle gives us the energy. That one is the ultimate aim of the carbohydrate metabolism, or ultimate aim of the glycolysis, or the ultimate aim of the TCA cycle, to get the energy to perform the daily activity. Means for each and every activity there is a requirement of the energy now. Then that energy is provided by with the help of glycolysis cycle and with the help of TCA cycle. Now, then first we will see the glycolysis. But before starting the glycolysis, we will discuss certain enzyme that one is required to complete the glycolysis. Means these are the different class or the different subtype of the enzyme. For an example, oxidoreductase, which carry out the oxidation reduction reaction. Then transferase, required for the transfer of functional group. Then hydrolysase, means with the help of water molecule we can carry out the breakdown of our molecule. Then lyase, then the ligase. Lyase means that two substances come with each other. Lyase means to carry out the breakdown of the substances, and ligase, that one is exactly opposite. For the stitching or for the tying of two substances, we are using a ligase. Now, then that first one is a glycolysis cycle. There are different stages of glycolysis cycle, and that whole glycolysis cycle is composed of, there are 9 different stages or the phases. Means some are energy investment phases and some are energy generation phases. Now actually journey of glycolysis is start from glucose. Okay, actually journey of glycolysis is start from the glucose. Means glucose is a starting material, and we will get the glucose from the different foodstuff. Means whatever foodstuff we are eating, that contains the glucose. Means that glucose enter into a glycolysis cycle, and then that glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate, which it will go under the phosphorylation, then it will utilize one phosphate. That phosphate is donated by ATP. That phosphate is donated by ATP, and ATP is converted into a ADP. As ATP is converted into ADP, there is utilization of one ADP. With that one is an energy investment phase of glycolysis. Then glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of enzyme hexokinase. Means that kinase was stand for, means these are the enzyme, kinases are the enzyme which required for phosphorylation या तो dephosphorylation. Means with the help of hexokinase, glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate. And now that glucose 6-phosphate goes under the isomerization, because glucose and the fructose are the isomer of each with each other. Glucose is a aldo sugar and the fructose is a keto sugar. Means these are the isomer. With the help of enzyme isomerase, glucose 6-phosphate is converted into a fructose 6-phosphate. Now the third phase or the third stage, in that fructose 6-phosphate again goes under the phosphorylation and converted into a fructose 1,6-diphosphate or the bisphosphate. Now over here also phosphorylation is takes place. Means again there is utilization of one ATP, and then one ATP is converted into one ADP. Again that one is called as a energy utilization phase. Now then that fructose 1,6-phosphate goes under the breakdown process. Means it is made up from fructose 1,6-diphosphate is made up from 6 carbon unit. It will go under the breakdown process or the splitting process, and now it is converted into a 3 carbon unit 2 molecule. This first one is a glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and the another one is a dihydroxyacetone phosphate. With the help of one hammering enzyme, that one is called as a aldolase. Then that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and the dihydroxyacetone phosphate, they can interconvert with each other. With that one is a reversible reaction. Means glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate may be converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate or the vice versa with the help of enzyme triose phosphate isomerase. Means after the entry of one single glucose molecule, there is a formation of 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and then that 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate now enter into another step of glycolysis. That one is a 5th step of glycolysis, and it is converted into a 1,3-diphosphoglycerate. Means again it will go under the phosphorylation. And over here there is a utilization of one phosphate, but that phosphate is donated or that one is obtained from inorganic phosphate. Means inorganic phosphate complete that reaction, and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate finally converted into a 1,3-diphosphoglycerate. But in that stage there is a loss of hydrogen from that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and then that hydrogen is taken by the NAD. NAD is nothing but the oxidized form. NAD is nothing but the oxidized form. That oxidized form of NAD is converted into a reduced form of NAD. That one is a NADH or NADH2. Now then there is formation of 1,3-diphosphoglycerate. Then 1,3-diphosphoglycerate again goes under the dephosphorylation. There is a loss of one phosphate group, and that one phosphate group is taken by ADP, and ADP is converted into a ATP, and finally we will get 3-phosphoglycerate. Then that 3-phosphoglycerate enter into next phase, and finally it is converted into a 2-phosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme phosphoglyceromutase. Okay, means over here only transfer of hydroxyl group and only transfer of phosphate takes place, and finally that 3-phosphoglycerate is converted into a 2-phosphoglycerate. Means phosphate group initially present at the 3rd position, now it is transferred to a 2nd position, and then that 2-phosphoglycerate is converted into a phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of enzyme enolase, and then that phosphoenol pyruvate finally converted into a pyruvate. That one is the end product of our glycolysis. But phosphoenol pyruvate converted into a pyruvate with the loss of phosphate, and that phosphate is taken by ADP, and ADP is converted into a ATP. Okay. Now concentrate on the 2 phases: energy investment phases and the energy generation phases. Means step number 1. That one is a energy investment phase. Step number 3 is also energy investment phase. Means in step number 1 as well as in step number 3 there is utilization of ATP. Means overall there is utilization of 2 ATP. That one is called as an energy investment phase. Then the next phase is nothing but the energy payoff phase. Means we will get some benefit now. We are investing the 2 ATP and finally we are getting some more ATP. Okay, with the help of energy payoff phases. Then which are the energy payoff phases? Fifth phase. In a case of fifth phase, when glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted into a 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, then that NAD is converted into a NADH. Okay, NAD is converted into a NADH, and the another one is a sixth phase where ADP is converted into a ATP, and the last phase, that one is a ninth phase where we get ATP from ADP. Means finally, in a case of glycolysis, there is utilization of 2 ATP. And then there is a generation of 4 ATP. There is utilization of 2 ATP. There is a generation of 4 ATP. 4 ATP means in fifth phase there is a generation of NADH2, but 2 NADH2 is generated. In sixth phase there is a generation of 2 ATP, and in ninth phase there is a generation of another 2 ATP. Means 2 plus 2, 4 ATP is generated. And what about that NADH2? Or the reduced form of NAD, or it is also called as a reduced form of chemical equivalent. Now that reduced form of the chemical equivalent now enter into another chain. That one is called as a electron transport chain. Means on an inner mitochondrial membrane. On an inner mitochondrial membrane, there is a presence of electron transport chain. As the name indicates, means that chain is made up from different complexes. There are 4 complexes of electron transport chain, and our electron or the reduced form of the chemical equivalent, that means they travel from one complex to another complex. Means 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Okay. And now during that traveling, it will fall from higher potential to lower potential, and finally we will get the energy. Now that NADH2 means we are discuss about the glycolysis now. Remember that exact site of the glycolysis is a cytoplasm, and NADH2 is generated in a cytoplasm. Are you agree? NADH2 is generated in a cytoplasm. Still NADH2 is present in a cytoplasm. But in order to enter that NADH2 into an electron transport chain, this location of the electron transport chain is nothing but the inner mitochondrial membrane. Location of the electron transport chain exactly located on a inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now, when that NADH2 is present in a cytosol part of the cell, then in order to enter into electron transport chain, we have to transfer that NADH2 from cytosol to a inner part of mitochondria. Means that NADH2 has to cross 2 barriers. First one is the outer mitochondrial membrane and the inner mitochondrial membrane, and then it will enter into a electron transport chain. But it is difficult. Means there is a difficulty in the transportation of NADH2. For that purpose, NADH2 take the help of some shuttle. Means it will take the help of some shuttle. Okay? Means with the help of shuttle system. Which one is a shuttle system? That one is called as a malate aspartate shuttle. Means there is a one shuttle system present in the body. With the help of that shuttle system, NADH2 present in a cytosol part of the cell now enter into a inner part of the mitochondria. And with the help of shuttle, now it is enter into a electron transport chain. And as soon as it will enter into electron transport chain, every reduced form of the chemical equivalent having a certain potential. Based on that potential, it will enter through a different complexes. Okay, means for an example, complex number 1 or maybe from complex number 2. NADH2 having a higher potential, so it will enter it from complex number 1. And FADH2 having some lesser potential, then it will enter from complex number 2. Then NADH2 is fall from complex number 1 to complex number 4, and FADH2 is fall from complex number 2 to complex number 4, and that's why NADH2 gives us the 3 ATP and FADH2 gives us the 2 ATP. Because NADH2 having a higher potential, it will fall from higher potential to a lower potential, and FADH2 having a moderate potential, it will fall from moderate potential to a much more lower potential, and that's why NADH2 gives us the 2 ATP and FADH2 gives us the NADH2 gives us the 3 ATP and FADH2 gives us the 2 ATP. Means ultimately energetics of that glycolysis. If single molecule, keep in mind now, if single molecule of glucose enter into aerobic glycolysis, then there is a generation of 4 ATP directly. Along with NADH2 is enter into electron transport chain. 2 molecule of NADH2 is enter into electron transport chain, and it will give us the 2 into 3 means 6 ATP. Means total ATP generated, 4 directly generated. That one is called as a direct phosphorylation, and the another one is a oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is nothing but the if ATP is generated by entering into electron transport chain, that type of the phosphorylation is called as a oxidative phosphorylation. And if in a case of step number 6, if ADP is converted into ATP, that type of the phosphorylation is called as a substrate level phosphorylation. Means that substrate 1,3-diphosphoglycerate donate 1 phosphate, and then that phosphate is taken by ADP, then ADP is converted into a ATP. That type of the phosphorylation is called as a substrate level phosphorylation. Means with the end of that glycolysis cycle, with the help of substrate level phosphorylation, we will get the 4 ATP, and with the help of oxidative phosphorylation, we will get the 6 ATP. Means 6 plus 4, there is a generation of 10 ATP, and there is utilization of 2 ATP in step number 1 as well as step number 3. Means with the help of aerobic glycolysis, or with the help of a single molecule of glucose is entered into aerobic glycolysis, finally we will get only 8 ATP. Clear? Now concentrate on a anaerobic glycolysis. There is only extra step. That pyruvate, that one is step number 10. That pyruvate is converted into a lactate. But if pyruvate is converted into a lactate, then that NADH2 is converted into a NAD. Means ultimately whatever NADH2 is generated in step number 5, whatever NADH2 is generated in the step number 5, that one is utilized in a step number 10 to convert our pyruvate into a lactate. We see in a case of anaerobic glycolysis, there is a generation of only 4 ATP with the help of substrate level phosphorylation. And what about the oxidative phosphorylation? With the help of oxidative phosphorylation, there is a no generation of ATP, because whatever NADH2 is formed in step number 5, that one is already utilized in a step number 10. Means 4 ATP is generated with the help of substrate level phosphorylation, 2 ATP is already invested in step number 1 as well as in step number 3, and finally in anaerobic glycolysis we will get only 2 ATP. Now glycolysis is over. Then next one is our TCA cycle. That one is also called as a Krebs cycle. That one is called as a Krebs cycle or the TCA cycle. There is a formation of pyruvate. Okay, there is a formation of pyruvate, and with the help of pyruvate carboxylase, that pyruvate. Then that pyruvate with the help of enzyme decarboxylase, that pyruvate is converted into a acetyl-CoA, and now that acetyl-CoA is entered into a TCA cycle, or it is also called as a Krebs cycle. Okay. Now that one is a Krebs cycle. Now that acetyl-CoA, it is made up from 2 carbon unit. It is combined with the oxaloacetate, and then there is formation of citrate. Citrate is converted into a C-saccharinated. That C-saccharinated is converted into a isocitrate. Now, number of carbon atom present in a citrate is 6. Number of carbon atom present in isocitrate, still it is 6. And then that isocitrate goes under the decarboxylation, means there is a loss of carbon dioxide. Means from that isocitrate there is a loss of 1 carbon. Now there is a formation of 5 carbon compound. That 5 carbon compound is called as the alpha ketoglutarate. But in that stage again there is a generation of NADH2. Then that alpha ketoglutarate again goes under the decarboxylation, and finally it is converted into a succinyl-CoA. But in that stage again there is a generation of NADH2 or the reduced form of chemical equivalent. This first reduced form of the chemical equivalent is generated when isocitrate is converted into alpha ketoglutarate, and another when alpha ketoglutarate is converted into a succinyl-CoA. Now that succinyl-CoA is converted into a succinate. Succinyl-CoA is converted into a succinate. Now that one is also example of substrate level phosphorylation, where 1 GDP, guanosine diphosphate, is converted into a GTP, and that GTP gives us the same energy like that of the 1 ATP. and that's why we can say when succinyl-CoA is converted into a succinate with the help of substrate level phosphorylation, again we will get the 1 ATP. Then that succinate. So when succinyl-CoA is converted into a succinate, then that succinate again goes under the dehydration, loss of hydrogen. That hydrogen is taken by the FAD, and FAD is converted into a FADH2. And then that fumarate goes under certain modification and it will converted into a malate, and then that malate again goes under the dehydration and it is finally converted into oxaloacetate, and in that stage also there is a formation of NADH2. Now concentrate on a glycolysis cycle and correlate it with the TCA cycle. End product of glycolysis is a pyruvate. Pyruvate when converted into acetyl-CoA. Pyruvate when converted into acetyl-CoA, then again that one is a decarboxylation reaction as well as dehydration reaction. And as that one is a dehydration reaction, then that pyruvate when converted into acetyl-CoA, again there is a generation of NADH2. Now concentrate on how many NADH2 is generated in that TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle. First NADH2 when pyruvate is converted into acetyl-CoA, agree. Second, when isocitrate is converted into a alpha-ketoglutarate. Third, when alpha-ketoglutarate is converted into a succinyl-CoA. And fourth, when malate is converted into a oxaloacetate. Means there is a generation of 4 NADH2. There is a generation of 1 FADH2 when succinate is converted into a fumarate. Means 4 NADH2 is generated, 1 FADH2 is generated. Now 4 NADH2 if enter into electron transport chain, then each NADH2 gives us the 3 ATP, means 4 into 3. How many ATP is generated? 12. 1 FADH2 is entered into electron transport chain, then 1 into 2. How many ATP is generated? 2. Means initially that one is a 14. Sorry, 12 na? 12 plus 2, 14 ATP is generated with the help of NADH2 and FADH2. And what about the ATP? There is a one direct ATP generated na when succinyl-CoA is converted into a succinate. This total 15 ATP is generated in TCA cycle. And now correlate your TCA cycle with your glycolysis cycle. If single molecule of glucose is entered into aerobic glycolysis, then there is a formation of 2 molecule of pyruvate. Agree? When single molecule of glucose is entered into a glycolysis, then there is formation of 2 molecule of pyruvate. Agree? Okay. Then that 2 molecule of pyruvate is entered into a TCA cycle. This single molecule gives us the 15 ATP. There are 2 molecules. These 2 pyruvate then enter into a, when 2 molecules enter into a TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle, then there is a generation of 30 ATP. Now, give me the answer. If single molecule of glucose goes under the complete metabolism, if single molecule of glucose goes under the complete metabolism, then how many ATP is generated? 38. Complete metabolism means correlate your glycolysis with your TCA cycle. Then it is called as a complete metabolism. Means with the help of complete metabolism of single glucose molecule, finally we will get the 38 ATP. Okay. Now carbohydrate role is over. Now come to the lipids. Means first bimolecule is a carbohydrate. Now comes to the lipid. Now lipid. Example of lipid, fat.
Yes, fat.
Example of lipid is a fat, and that fat is made up from glycerol plus fatty acid. Means alcohol plus acid. There is a formation of ester. This fat is also called as a ester of fatty acid. Fat is also called as a ester of fatty acid. This fatty acid plus glycerol, there is a formation of fats. That one is called as ester of fatty acid. Now, if fat goes under the hydrolysis means lysis means breakdown, and hydro means in presence of water. In presence of water, if fat goes under the breakdown process or the lysis process, then ultimately there is formation of glycerol plus fatty acid. then there is formation of glycerol plus fatty acids. Then that glycerol is converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which glycerol is converted into a dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and dihydroxyacetone phosphate is converted into a glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and now enter into a glycolysis, and again there is a generation of energy. This glycerol is utilized for the energy generation when fat is goes under the breakdown process. What about that fatty acid? What about that fatty acid? Glycerol is entered into glycolysis. What about that fatty acid? That fatty acid is entered into a beta oxidation. There are 4 stages of the 4 phases of beta oxidation, and which one is the end product of beta oxidation? Acyl-CoA and acetyl-CoA. There is a formation of acyl-CoA and the acetyl-CoA. Means after the each cycle of beta oxidation, there is a loss of 2 carbon atom, and that 2 carbon atom is lost or lose in the form of acetyl-CoA. And what about that acetyl-CoA? That acetyl-CoA is entered into a now enter into a Krebs cycle. Means with the help of beta oxidation, finally we are getting a acetyl-CoA, and now that acetyl-CoA is entered into a Krebs cycle. And if single molecule of acetyl-CoA is entered into a Krebs cycle, then how many ATP is generated? Single molecule of acetyl-CoA is entered into a Krebs cycle, then how many ATP is generated? How 15? Pyrite is converted into acetyl-CoA, then there is formation of NADH2. Then neglect that NADH2, means 12 ATP is generated. Means single molecule of acetyl-CoA, if enter into a TCA cycle, then there is a generation of only 12 ATP, because journey started from acetyl-CoA na. In the case of glycolysis, that pyruvate and the acetyl-CoA, then there is formation of NADH2. We have to omit that NADH2. Means only 3 NADH2 is generated, 1 FADH2 is generated. Means 9 plus 2, 11 plus 1 direct ATP is generated in when that acetyl-CoA is converted into a succinate. Means single molecule of acetyl-CoA, if enter into a Krebs cycle or the TCA cycle, then we will get only 12 ATP. And during fasting condition, means if we are on a fast, then there is a utilization of energy storage. Energy store means if you are eating a excess of glucose, some of the glucose is entered into glycolysis, and some of the glucose is converted into a glycogen. And during fasting condition, that glycogen is used as a energy source, and that glycogen is converted into a glucose, and again that glucose is entered into a glycolysis cycle. If all the glycogen is utilized, then which one is a storehouse for energy? Fat. Okay, this if there is a entire utilization of the glycogen, then we will get the energy from fats. With the help of fat goes under the breakdown process, converted into glycerol plus fatty acid, and finally one is entered into a glycolysis cycle, that one is a glycerol, and another is entered into a beta oxidation, and then it is entered into a TCA cycle. Okay, means if we burn, remember the sentence, if you burn or if you utilize 1 gram of fat, and if you utilize 100 gram of glucose, we will get the same energy. Means 100 gram of glucose and the 1 gram of fat gives us the same amount of energy. Means by burning a 1 gram of fat, we will get the same energy like that 100 gram of glucose is entered into a glycolysis. Means fat gives us the 100 times more energy as compared to glucose. Okay, thank you. Now session is over. If you have any doubt or the query, please ask. No doubt.